Justice Binta Nyako of Federal High Court in Abuja has adjourned indefinitely after the detained leader of Indigenous People of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, as seen in a privileged video footage during today's court session, staged a resistance protest, insisting while confronting the judge face to face, including the prosecuting counsel, Adegboyega Awomolo, that Justice Binta, who is an indigene of Katsina State, state with former President Muhammadu Buhari, is biased, saying, Justice Nyako, who had held a political position of Katsina State Attorney General and Commissioner of Justice, that her court is not a court of law but a shrine of injustice, accusing the judge of poke-nosing with authorities to pass wrong judgment against him in order to be left off the hook by the federal government. Her son, Abdul-Aziz Nyako, and her husband, retired Vice Admiral Murtala Nyako, who was once Chief of Naval Staff, Deputy Chief of Defense Staff, pioneer former military Governor of Niger State, 2 times Governor of Adamawa State, who were impeached twice by Adamawa State House of Assembly for misconduct, one of the soldiers that fought against Biafra during Nigeria's civil war, a current member of the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, who is facing corruption charges alongside his son in a criminal allegation filed before court of law since 2015 by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, over alleged cases of abuse of office, criminal conspiracy, theft and money laundering. Nnamdi Kanu could be seen in the video during the court session saying with confidence that Justice Binta Nyako cannot be the judge over his case in this life, adding that he would not appeal the decision of the Chief Judge of Federal High Court that returned the case file to Justice Binta Nyako for Nnamdi Kanu to request the judge recusal in writing and not verbal. Before him, the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court can consider Nnamdi Kanu's rejection of the judge after Justice Binta had earlier last year withdrawn from the case. With a marching and unwavering voice, the Biafra freedom fighter warned the prosecutor counsel to respect himself, else he would be insulted. Insisting, the prosecutor counsel, despite his old age, being a senior advocate of Nigeria, son don't know Nigeria law. Saying this with emphasis while reading from a document, he said it's a federal government gazetted law of national judicial ethical conduct before Justice Binta Nyako and prosecutor counsel, Adegboyega Awomolo, pointing out a section of the law that says the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court does not have right to tell a judge what to do. The prosecution and the court don't know the law, that is the fact. Poor knowledge of the law is killing Nigeria, Nnamdi Kanu said. Judge Binta Nyako thereafter announced the indefinite postponement of the proceedings. Kanu said during the proceedings that he was not happy with the decision of the Chief Judge, returning the case to Justice Nyako. The IPOB leader said he was only in court due to the respect he had for the rule of law, adding that the judge had previously withdrawn herself from the case. He said he could not be prosecuted while the case remained with Justice Binta Nyako. Prosecutor Adegboyega Awomolo, a senior advocate of Nigeria, son, objected to Kanu's remarks and asked for a definite date for hearing, but Indigenous People of Biafra, IPOB lawyer, Barrister Ifeanyi Ejiofor, has called out Anambra State Governor, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, over the arrest and detention of a well-known native doctor always on social media, Chidozia Nwangu aka Akwa Okukotiwara Aki, accusing the governor of violating the rights to religious practice of the suspect as guaranteed by Nigeria Constitution. This, as Governor Charles Chukwuma Soludo goes harder on Babalawos, which are spiritual native doctors foiling insecurity in the state, most especially those under the religious practice of Okite or Ezewani, that are widely believed to be responsible for the encouragement of people into kidnapping, organs harvesting, money rituals, specifically rampant cases of stolen babies and boyfriends killing girlfriends for money ritual purposes, with investigation indicating that some dangerous crimes in Anambra are committed by teenagers, minors or underage children, often misled and manipulated into the inhuman crimes by elderly ones, forcing the Anambra State government to enact a new law, that is that Homeland Security Law 2025, that came into effect on January 17, 2025, which banned anyone from advertising or showcasing on social media or any public place his or her supernatural powers to make people rich without any lawful means of legitimate business, forbids any spiritual native doctor from using their powers to perfect magical bulletproof for people to commit crime in the state, and strictly stipulated 25 years imprisonment with no option of fine for any spiritual native doctor that requires human parts or blood to administer charms or protection to anybody in the state. A careful study of the Anambra State Homeland Security Law. The government did not ban the practice of babalawo, which or spiritual native doctor, but anyone who practiced his or her religion in a manner that violates other sections of Nigeria Constitution, public rights, or the rights of any human being in the state. The native doctor, Akwa Okuko, in a video made available online on Saturday where he was seen interrogated by the Anambra State Deputy Governor, Onyeka Ibezim, said he has long stopped the practice of Okite immediately he heard about the Homeland Security Law concerning Okite, adding that he is not the owner of the social media account where supernatural powers for wealth and protection is being advertised and propagated. The Homeland Security Law stipulates 1 year imprisonment or a fine of 5 million naira or both for any landlord or house owner that rent his or apartment out to tenant without collecting a valid means of identification, details of work occupation of the tenant, and submitting same immediately to the President General of the community or leadership of his or her estate for onward transmission of the tenant data to authority. All hotels, guest houses, inn, lodges, motels, shortlets, or any commercial dwelling places in the state are by the new law mandated to install CCTV cameras on their facilities with mandatory collection of valid ID card from guests or users of the HomeAway accommodation before checking them into their room. Report daily to appropriate authority the CCTV recording and data collected from the users, and failure to do so, the proprietor of the place of hospitality will be sentenced to 6 months imprisonment or a fine of 1 million naira or both. The law stipulates 6 years jail term or a fine of 20. United Nations UN says dozens of inmates with more than 150 female prisoners alongside their babies were burnt alive on January 27, 2025 when some detainees at Munzenze prison in Goma set fire on the facility to escape after M23 advanced to take over the city, forcing prison guards to flee and shot dead many inmates. Videos posted online by local media showed UN staff recovering some of the bodies burnt beyond recognition at the female cells. One of the relatives of the burnt inmates said her mother was committed to the prison 2 years ago for stealing. She was able to recognize her mother's body, saying her mother had braided hair before the prison break, adding that the baby her mother had while inside the prison also died in the inferno. One of the female prisoners who sustained injuries from the inferno while speaking from her hospital bed, said that there were over 124 babies at the Munzenze prison facility, explaining that most of them were asleep when the fire came falling on them, including the babies. It was also gathered that some of the female prisoners among the more than 150 persons burnt alive during the incident were raped by the escaping male detainees. More than 4,000 detainees escaped as the M23 rebel alliance battled with Congolese forces over control of the city, CNN correspondent Salma Abdul-Aziz reported. A senior UN official in the Democratic Republic of Congo said on Wednesday that nearly 3,000 people were killed in the fighting between M23 militants and the Congolese National Army over control of the Goma eastern city. Vivian van der Perry, the deputy head of the United Nations mission in the DRC, reportedly told reporters in a video call from Goma that UN teams are actively helping the M23 to collect the dead from the city's streets. She said that, so far, 2,000 bodies have been retrieved and 900 others are in hospital morgues. CNN reported that the UN Human Rights Office spokesperson, Sif Magango, said that most of the 165 female prisoners who were raped by escaping male inmates died in the fire. CNN added that, between 9 and 13 female inmates, all of whom had also been raped, survived the blaze, Magango added, citing a judicial source in the DRC. We did not independently verify the judicial official's report ourselves, but we do consider his account to be credible, Magango told CNN Thursday. The male inmates, some of whom were killed by prison guards, plotted a mass escape on January 27 as the M23 rebel alliance battled with Congolese forces in Goma over control of the city, the UN-sponsored Radio Okapi reported Monday. Local observers said, as rebels entered the city, Goma's Munzenze prison became a center of the violence. It was set on fire, prisoners were burnt alive, and thousands escaped. Meanwhile, thousands of Goma city residents attend a Thursday rally organized by M23 rebels who sought to reassure
bringing you the news in a more digital way.